the top stories, St. Kitts Nevis stands with countries affected by Hurricane Beryl. Hurricane Beryl bearing down on Grenada, a state of emergency declared, and storm kills at least 4 people in Southern Alps in Switzerland. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Monday, July 1st, 2024. I'm Scotty Sia Hendrickson. Nationally, Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew has voiced his commitment to helping other Caribbean neighbors who are likely to be affected by the passage of Hurricane Beryl. In a brief statement posted on Facebook late on Sunday, he said he has been in communication with Prime Ministers Ralph Gonsalves of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Mia Motley of Barbados, Dickon Mitchell of Grenada, and Philip Pear of St. Lucia as they brace for Hurricane Beryl. Prime Minister Drew said St. Kitts and Nevis stands fully with all named countries and urged citizens to keep our brothers and sisters in their prayers. Meanwhile, the eye of the Hurricane Beryl is expected to pass close to Carriacou and Petite Martinique, and Prime Minister Mitchell made the announcement while sharing updates on early Monday.
All of the reports throughout Grenada so far overnight indicate that we've had varying degrees of rainfall and varying degrees of wind, but there has not been any reports of any major damage as a result of the weather, and so we are grateful and thankful for that. So far, it means our prayers are being answered, but the next 8 hours are absolutely critical. If ever, it represents perhaps the most dangerous part of this exercise. So I want to re-emphasize to our citizens that the state of emergency remains in place. It is for your own safety. As Ms. Johnson has indicated, at 5 a.m., the hurricane was approximately 125 miles off the coast of Grenada. It therefore means that at 20 miles per hour speed, that by 10 a.m., we expect that it may very well be covering all of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique.
An emergency evacuation order has been issued for residents in Limlair, Dover, and Windward areas of Carriacou. Satellite imagery and Barbados radar data indicate that the eye of Beryl made landfall on Carriacou around 11:10 a.m. as a powerful Category 4 hurricane. Data from an Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunter aircraft indicates that Beryl's maximum sustained winds have increased to 240 kilometers per hour. Across TNT, rainfall of varying intensity with gusty winds is ongoing. Heavier rainfall is favoring Tobago and northern Trinidad. Hurricane Beryl is said to be moving away from Trinidad and Tobago and into the Caribbean Sea. Meanwhile, just before 11 a.m. today, Nemo, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines posted that the eye wall of Hurricane Beryl was about to make landfall in the Grenadine Islands. The story will be updated in our next newscast. The St. Kitts Electricity Company Limited, or SCELEC, has announced scheduled maintenance outages for the week of July 1st to July 5th, 2024. These outages are part of an ongoing effort to improve reliability. On Tuesday, July 2nd, Stapleton Housing Project is likely to be without power from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Whitegate, St. Paul's, Connery Village, and Connery Heights will be affected between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. on Wednesday, July 3rd. Residents in the affected areas should expect an interruption of power during the specified times. The electricity supply may be interrupted later and restored earlier than the scheduled times. SCELEC apologizes for any inconvenience caused and thanks the public for its understanding and support. Customers who remain without power after the scheduled outages are asked to call 465-2013 or 600 from a mobile phone to report the issue. For more updates, visit the SCELEC Facebook page or log on to www.scelec.kn. As the 26th staging of the St. Kitts Music Festival wraps up, We recognize the opportunities afforded to local artists to perform on the international stage. To this end, we feature former Soca monarch Statics. Carla Beryl has more in this report.
I started going and liking for the stage, like it started being my thing. So I started doing that for the years until right up and then I've been losing the competition until 2023, that was me, the Cowbell King.
Yeah. Over the years, the St. Kitts Music Festival has welcomed several local artists to perform for thousands on a stage shared by regional and international artists. Soca artist Statics is one such artist who graced the stage of the St. Kitts Music Festival 1 year ago. Statics, a 10-year-old veteran in the soca music industry, sat down with ZIZ's Vibe Check host, Scotty C. Hendrickson, to talk about his years of experience.
I came from a small start where, there were days when promoters put you to perform first and it's just, you're on the brass, you're on the sound, you're on the band. Nobody ever really reached to the event yet, but it's your time, so you gotta make things seem like this is what went down, or this is what I would like it to make. Like, for example, the camera's gonna be rolling. You can't put out a product that. And that's how we perform. I can't listen on the music festival. Like, no, you can't do that. I bring energy every time. When you're performing, you can't think about doing too much out there because you have a crowd of people and they're not responding to your music. And so what you gonna do? Let them kill your vibe? Why can't I kill my vibe? Can't kill my vibe.
You bring the vibe.
We party up here, so if you want to stand up down there, that's you. Party with me if you choose to.
Right. Statics, who is also a songwriter, spoke of his process.
So what I do, I start, when I catch a vibe, I just start putting the melody and words at the same time, because you could write some lyrics, but you give them to me and I don't know how to sing them because everyone does shit into the phrase or the melody and stuff like that. Melody depends on the mood as well.
He said he has already released 2 songs so far for 2024.
I released 2 tracks for the year already. That's Love You and Respect featuring Virgil. And there was one more like Valentine's relationship type song. It's something you could sit down and relax to than to just be dancing affected. Just performing with a million devices actually had to think about doing something to record. Because a lot of times we perform and we don't get to watch it back, we want to listen it back. Right. So I decided this song I think they need an answer back. And I wrote more sides, her part, my part, and I just called it to the studio and then she done the song spot. It took a while for us to finish it, but it's now out on YouTube. That's how it's called Respect featuring Virgil.
Statics is known for songs like Feelings featuring Upset Squad, Bumper Heat, and Work and Twerk. Statics was crowned Soca Monarch in 2023 with the song Cowbell. Reporting for ZIZ News, I'm Carla Beryl.
In regional news, remain where you are. A message from Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell to the people of Grenada. Speaking during a press briefing on Sunday night, he announced that a state of emergency has been declared and is likely to remain in effect until July 7th.
As promised, we continue to provide you with timely updates as to our preparations for Hurricane Beryl. You've heard clearly from the Met Office that it is a dangerous Category 4 hurricane. The hurricane will impact all of Grenada, not just the northern part, and so it's important for us to appreciate that. It is already impacting Barbados, and we expect that it will impact all of the Windward Islands and possibly other islands as well. This afternoon, Her Excellency the Governor General issued a proclamation that declared a public emergency for the whole of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. In simple terms, it means a state of emergency has been declared.
He also outlined the restrictions that will remain in place until the state of emergency is lifted.
Restriction 1, restriction on freedom of movement. As of today, the 30th of June 2024, and commencing at 7 p.m., persons will be subject to a curfew. That curfew will commence at 7 p.m. tonight and will end at 6:59 a.m. on the 2nd of July. Let me repeat, a national curfew is being imposed from 7 p.m. tonight and will expire on the 2nd of July at 6:59 a.m. unless further extended or unless brought to an earlier end. So there's a national curfew. You are expected to remain at home. You are expected to remain in your place of shelter if you are in a public shelter. No movement of persons will be tolerated.
The only people exempt from the curfew that has been imposed are members of the Royal Grenada Police Force, hospital workers and other healthcare employees, officers of His Majesty's Prison, officers and employees of the Department of Environmental Health and Services, employees of waste disposal and sanitation companies, employees and officers of the Airport Authority and Port Authority, employees of gas stations, employees of the government printry, other employees of public utilities companies, including water, electricity, electronic communication or print and electronic media. The Prime Minister said while he understands that this will be a trying time, it is imperative that citizens adhere to the rules put in place for public health and public safety. Just before midday on Sunday, Hurricane Beryl made history, becoming the earliest hurricane to reach Category 4 intensity in a calendar year. With sustained winds of 130 miles per hour and a central pressure of 962, Beryl surpassed the previous record held by Dennis in 2005. Dennis reached Category 4 status on July 7th with winds of 135 miles per hour while located between Cuba and Jamaica. In other regional news, the Trinidad and Tobago government announced on Sunday that it is providing safe passage for marine vessels, including yachts and other pleasure crafts, as Hurricane Beryl approaches several Caribbean countries. The Ministry of Trade and Industry highlighted that Trinidad and Tobago, situated below the hurricane belt, offers a safe haven for marine interests affected by the hurricane. Preliminary data from the Marine Services Association of Trinidad and Tobago indicates that over 100 vessels are en route to Trinidad and Tobago, with some having already arrived safely. The association uses GPS tracking to monitor vessel positions. All border agencies, including Customs and Excise, Immigration and Port Health, have been activated to process the incoming vessels from the Eastern Caribbean seeking shelter from Hurricane Beryl. Trinidad and Tobago stands in solidarity with our CARICOM brothers and sisters, especially those in the Eastern Caribbean, the ministry stated. As a gesture of goodwill, all custom fees have been temporarily waived for marine stakeholders escaping Hurricane Beryl. In international news, storms in Switzerland and northern Italy has caused intensive flooding and landslides, leaving at least 4 people dead, authorities said on Sunday. More in this Euronews report.
At least 4 people were killed after flooding and landslides caused by heavy storms struck Switzerland and northern Italy. The bodies of 3 people were recovered after a landslide in the Italian-speaking Swiss county of Ticino on the southern side of the Alps. People were evacuated and bridges collapsed after heavy rain pounded parts of the country throughout the weekend. Further north, the Rhone River burst its banks in several areas within the Valais region, flooding a motorway and railway line. Floods, thunderstorms and landslides also hit regions in Italy. Firefighters said they carried out about 80 rescue operations, evacuating dozens of people in the northern Piedmont region. Several villages in the Valle d'Aosta region were isolated due to overflowing streams, storms and landslides. Near Montanaro, 2 adults and a 3-month-old girl were rescued after the rising waters left them stuck in their car.
In other international news, about half of Nigeria's more than 200 million people are hooked up to a national electricity grid that can't provide sufficient daily electricity to most of those connected. More in this Africa News report.
Nigeria still grapples with insufficient power supply in a country that boasts as the most populous nation in Africa. The country's rural areas are the most affected, with more than 200 million people hooked up with the national grid that is always unstable. In the Excellent Morale School in Ibadan, school founder Muhyiddin Raj says it's affecting their learning.
There has never been electricity here, and we have made rigorous efforts to get transformer to be connected to national grid. But up to now, we are still on it. And that is affecting so many things here, particularly education. You know, today, education has gone beyond writing and listening to teachers in the class alone. So education has gone digital, and there's no way we can give the students the best of what they need without electricity.
The school has had to deal with the ever-fluctuating number of learners who do transfer to other schools that are connected to the grid.
One of the biggest worries is the fact that we don't want to leave this, we don't want to lose this school soon, because people are moving away from this in the name of there's no light. I have from people who have relocated just because they said there's no light in this community. They went back. So we are losing pupils in the process. And people have to go with their parents and leave the school.
Ebonola Akinwale, owner of the Nature Street Cafe in Ibadan, says she pays approximately $1,700 monthly to power backup generators in her 4 branches. She now thinks of changing her business model in a way that it can be sustainable.
Nothing changes, and it's still what it is now, and it always gets worse. I probably will change the model of the business. I probably will focus more online. Maybe might close 1 or 2 branches and maybe buy bikes instead and do more of deliveries. You know, I might just look at the model of the business so that I have less, costs, business costs. I won't close my business because I'm very passionate about what I do, but I probably will think of ways where I'm less reliant on maybe power.
With less than 8,000 megawatts of capacity and an average supply of less than 4,000 megawatts, power outages are an everyday occurrence in Nigeria.
And now for the weather. Present weather is partly cloudy with slight dust haze. Temperature is 29 degrees Celsius or 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are a fresh breeze of 19 miles per hour from the east-northeast. Seas are 1.8 to 2.8 meters or 6 to 9 feet, with swells peaking to 1.5 meters or 5 feet. A small craft advisory is in effect, and high surf advisory will be in effect this afternoon. Weather forecast in St. Kitts as Nevis for today will be cloudy with showers and a 40% or moderate chance of thunderstorms. Tonight will be cloudy with showers and a 40% or moderate chance of thunderstorms. Sunset today will be at 6:49 p.m. and sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:41 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Scotty Sia Hendrickson.